What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. So today's video is kind of sporadic. You know, I got kind of a little bit of a call out from Brandon over at Cargo 450. I'll put his information in the description, or actually I'll just throw it right here on the screen. He kind of made a video the other day about what got him into the to the industry, say like the automotive industry, whether it's diesels, cars, you know, trucks, whatever the case may be. So he kind of like did a little tutorial on what got him into there, and what I'm going to do that as well. But another thing I'm going to do today before I get to that is I'm going to learn how to do some polishing and paint correction, I guess you could say. I went and bought some products. I don't know if you guys can see them over my shoulder. I got some McGuire stuff right there. I'll show you guys the truck real quick. I have a scuff on the passenger side rear door. So I'm not sure if you guys can see it, but it's kind of right in here. There's a dent, and then there's also a scuff mark. Let's see if I can see it from this side. But yeah, you guys can see it right there. I remember when that happened. I saw it right after I washed my truck. I went to my buddy's house. We're having some beers. I saw a smudge mark on the truck. So I was like, man, what the hell is that? So we'd been drinking, so I didn't mess with it too much. I kind of wiped it off. I was like, oh, it's nothing. And then I washed the truck 2 days ago, and I noticed it again. So kind of pissed off about it. It sucks, man, because people just don't, you know, respect each other's stuff. But we're gonna do what we got to do to get it fixed. So I bought the McGuire stuff over here. I've never done any of this stuff before, so this will be a first for me. I bought the McGuire's glaze, the fine cut cleaner, and then I got the high-tech yellow wax, and then I got some buffing pads. I bought these off of Amazon probably about a month ago or something. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna practice on this exhaust tip right here. I know it's not the same quality as like a truck paint, but I'm gonna clean this off with some of these products right here. Try to get like a clean surface. Man, look at that, it's crazy. And then we'll go from there. And after that, once we figure this out, we'll go to the truck, tape it off, clean it up a little bit, and try to see how it does, and we'll go from there. All right, guys, if this is your first time on the channel, please like, comment, and subscribe, and make sure you hit that notification bell. All right, so about 3 minutes of elbow grease. We did the mirror glaze first, and then we did the fine cut cleaner, and then the high-tech yellow wax. I just used a buffing pad. I didn't use any machinery. I used one side to I used one side for the fine cut cleaner, and then I used the other side for the carnauba wax. You can kind of see the shine here. I'll take it out in the sunlight here in a second, but that is just 5 minutes worth of work. So let's walk out here and see how she looks. I knew it wasn't hard. I just didn't want to hit my truck with it without messing with it first. So turned out pretty good. There's the shiny side. There's what she used to look like. So if you guys can see that, I think it turned out all right. So I guess we'll attack the truck with it now. It shouldn't take much since it's just a small little scrape. And we'll clean it up with the yellow wax, or the high-tech yellow wax, or whatever. So that's it. So we're letting the wax dry on there now. And that's kind of where the dent's at. You can kind of see it, the difference in the paint. Majority of the scratches came out. I think it'd probably be better if I had a polisher or a machine to do it. So don't have one, so I just did it by, you know, a little bit of elbow grease. So as you guys saw, there's still a little bit of some of the scratches there, not much compared to what it was last time. What I tried to do also is put some on the driver's side front rim and see if that would get some of the scratches out. They're not really scratches, they're like surface scuffs, or hell, I don't even know what to call them. But try to just throw it on there, see if I can get them out, and we'll go from there. But it's a learning process. I've waxed clay barred cars before, but the whole paint correction thing, I don't know if that's just a different name for it in the modern times, or if that's just it's a different process of how they do it now. So I'm still learning on that. Black is not the color you want to learn on, so I'm still just taking it slow. I'm probably going to buy a polisher here before too long and some different compounds and waxes to see how it goes. And just eventually, I want to do this thing. I told my wife the cost of that stuff today, about what ceramic coating and paint correction, all that stuff costs. She was not happy about it. But yeah, I want to knock this one out sooner than later. So we'll see how it goes. But like I said, black is not something you want to learn on. It is easy to mess up. If you burn that clear coat or put swirls in it, it shows up so much easier on a black car than it does anything else. But black does look the best when it's all cleaned up. All right, so back to what Brandon was talking about what got him into the car scene. Brandon Cargill 450. So I'm replying to his video. And for me, it's pretty simple. I grew up, my father was kind of like a motorhead. He's, diehard Chevy guy. That's what he loves. He's still to this day. He just recently got a Honda Civic. It's the first time he hasn't had a Chevy since I've been alive. So getting a little older now, so he needed a commuter to go to and from work. So he got himself a little Honda Civic Si. But he had a C5 Z06 before then, only had like 60,000 miles. He just recently sold that probably like 2 months ago. I was actually trying to get it from him, but I just didn't have the funding for it, so he had to sell it and do what he had to do. Before that, he had a K5 Blazer, a 1990 K5 Blazer. It was navy blue with a blue stripe down the middle. Beautiful truck. And before then, he had just a whole bunch of toys. So that bug kind of was handed down to me from him. Of course, I'm not a brand loyal kind of guy. I'm a guy that makes, the loyalty I have is of the company that makes the best product, right? Grew up diehard Chevy because that's all I knew. My first truck was a Dodge Ram Hemi, a 2004. If you guys seen on my IG post a couple weeks ago, I posted a charcoal gray Ram 1500 2004. It had a 2.4 drop kit on it. It looked pretty clean. That was my first pickup. After that, I went to a Jeep to a Chevy 1500. From that to another Jeep, to an F-150, and that was my first Ford. So long, without sitting here boring you guys to death, it's just something that I've always been into. The automotive industry has always been something that has been my passion. I'm in the military. I work on airplanes, get to fly in airplanes, so I don't really do that stuff at work. So when I come home and I have the funding for it to mess with my vehicles, I do. The Dodge, the Cummins is my first vehicle that I've actually done performance mods to. I've done cold air intakes, I've done exhaust before, I've done lowering kits, I've done lift kits, I've done leveling kits, I've done it all when it comes to suspension and stance. But I've never really done like too in-depth of, performance mods. So believe it or not, my first time actually pulling something apart and modding it was this truck was doing the deletes. This before I had the YouTube channel, installing the tuner, deleting all the EGR stuff and putting the exhaust on. That was pretty painless. It was just removing parts, putting a couple little pieces of hard parts on, and then going from there. The actual first like in-depth thing I did was the second gen swap on this truck. And some of you guys may be like, dang, that's crazy. But at the same time, I'm very analytical and I'm very logical when it comes to this stuff. I do research forever until I feel comfortable. I try to come up with every possible question I can think of when I actually start ripping into something and working on it. My experience in the military has made me a very mechanically inclined person, from working on jet engines, airframes, flight controls, hydraulic systems. So that stuff is it's like second nature to me. But I'm a person, once again, that likes to do research and make sure I have all my bases covered. Because you guys know well as I do, sometimes it looks very simple to do, like on a YouTube video, but as soon as you get in there, there's sometimes you peel back layers of that onion that you don't want to find out, but that may cost you a couple $100, $1,000 to fix, and that stuff sucks. And that's when it kind of just kind of ruins your taste for the automotive or customization or performance stuff, right? Because it's just not cheap. Diesels are like 4 or 5 times more expensive, in my opinion, than they are for the gas side. But yeah, my first major modifications to any vehicle performance related is this truck. My dream car, my ultimate dream car, believe it or not, is a Toyota Supra, a Mark IV. That is my dream. But I'm not going to pay $50,000, $60,000 for a stock car, twin turbo automatic, or whatever the case may be, with 160,000 miles. It is what it is. People love those cars. Obviously, it's a huge scene. There's a huge attraction to them because they are just monsters. But I'm not going to pay that kind of money on something that's that old. Hopefully they dive and they dip soon and I'll buy one. But if not, oh well. The next car I've actually been leaning towards is it's like the total opposite end of the spectrum. It's a 1948 Chevrolet Fleetline Aero sedan. People call them bombs, right? A lot of people make lowriders out of them or just slam them. I love those cars. The styling of those things are phenomenal. I mean, those are like some gangster cars, you know, from back in the day. So I've been slowly leaning towards that, going towards that for my next project. But who knows? You know, I change my mind all the time about what I want to do. So the automotive industry is something that I'm always going to be inclined or interested in, and it's always something I'm going to be a part of. The truck is obviously, that's my first love when it comes to diesel performance, and that's what this channel is based around, and that's what I'm going to keep it based around, is that truck. So I may bring in snippets of other things like I have in the past, but nothing crazy. But that truck is what this channel is about, so that's what we're going to focus on. With that being said, like I said in my last video, there is a lot of stuff coming for this truck. A lot of stuff. There's some parts coming for this truck. But they're expensive, you know. There's not much else to do to the truck. So the next thing that I plan on doing is gonna definitely just break it apart from anything else. So some of y'all may know what it is, but if not, leave a comment down below thinking what it might be. So with that being said, that's pretty much why I'm in the automotive industry. It's been kind of not bred into me, but like handed down with the experience of my father, all of his buddies, and kind of what I do for a living tied into it a little bit. But I've always been passionate about the automotive industry. It's something I think about, something that I'm going to get into when I retire from the military, but I'm just not sure yet. You know, that's a road that's a bridge we haven't even crossed yet. So we'll get there when we get there. But I just love, you know, messing with these vehicles. This is what I spend all my money on, or my extra funds, you know, to actually mess around with. So is automotive stuff. So that is my reasoning that I'm in this industry, and that's why I like this industry so much, and that's what I'm passionate about. Here she is, a little kind of in the shade. Hopefully you guys can see her pretty good. But washed the truck on Thursday after work. She hasn't even left the parking spot yet, or the driveway. But look at the hood, she's just covered in dirt. It sucks. But there she is. Man, I love this truck. All right, we'll just cover it one more time. So here's what I use to actually clean the paint. This is what I use to, I guess, cut the paint, and this is what I use for the wax. And then at the very end, I went over it with the jet black. You guys saw it, it looks pretty good. There's not really much of, there's some scratches there, but not a lot. And for a first time, I think that's pretty good. You know, if I had a machine like a polisher, I think it'd be solid. So we'll get that sometime here soon, probably within the very near future. And then we'll learn, and then we'll get the wife's car done. So, all right, guys, that's gonna do it for today's video. I hope you guys kind of gained something from this. I do apologize, I haven't uploaded much recently, but obviously with these mods comes expenses, and there's a lot of money that we're putting down on the next couple of parts that are coming. So hopefully that'll be here in the next couple of weeks, the next big mod. But I'll be having knee surgery probably within the upcoming week or two, getting my right knee fixed. I got some torn stuff up in there, so we got to get that done. And then shortly after that, I got to get my shoulder. I got to get some shoulder surgery. So getting old sucks. It is what it is. You got to do what you got to do. But once again, I do appreciate you guys watching. You guys are freaking awesome. We're nearing 1,000 subscribers. we're not nearing 1,000 subscribers. We're at like 542 subscribers, and we're climbing daily. So the channel is getting attention, is getting a lot of views. So I appreciate every single one of you guys. You guys are freaking awesome. Please comment, like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell and tell your buddies about it. So once again, appreciate you guys. We'll see you guys on the next upload.